I remember this teacher, he beat the shit out of me. You just toughen up so much that you grow this skin to protect yourself or to be, ready to fight anything. I even got into an interview with Louis Vuitton. I was asking her, how does the selection go to become an assistant designer? And I'm a Tibetan from India, so do we even have a chance? And she says, we consider the Indians as more as a factory than designers. You are categorized already according to where you're from. We came from a background which is more survival.
Yeah.
So how will we know how to put out fashion? I had a digital camera and the 8mm camera. We filmed it that way, and I had no clue how the sound works. I didn't even know how to structure the stories and seeing how I show it. I didn't know anything. And Yishi, every time she does this amazing concert in Paris, she would invite me. Then I'll be so mesmerized by her costume, her singing, she just takes you to another world. I feel like I'm too cringy for her,
Tenzin Dazel grew up in India. Kids laughed at her when she told them about her dream of becoming a designer in Paris. And she got beaten up at school. But you know what? She made it. She worked with luxury brands, even had her own fashion label. But she walked away from it all to pick up a camera and direct movies. Why? Because she wanted to tell real stories with imperfections that no Tibetan was telling. She's the director of Royal Cafe and the upcoming film Dharamsala. In this episode, she's incredibly honest about why she left fashion behind, about the pressure of being judged by your community, the exhaustion that comes with pouring your soul into a project, and why, despite the struggle, she refuses to create anything that isn't 100% authentic. This is a conversation about fashion, film, and the courage to try and make a change. Welcome back to Out of Tibet. My name is Namri Songtsen Lundop Tayap. Let's listen. Oh my God, yeah. I have peculiar good taste. Oh, we're already recording, actually. Okay, hey, Dazel, we're starting off with a security check, and I'll ask you to state your full name, please.
My name is Tenzin Dazel, and officially on my paper right now, it's Tenzin Dazel Clodon, because Clodon is my French father who adopted me, so I need to carry his name.
And when is your birthday?
I don't want to mention the year.
Okay, you don't have to mention the year. Just
I'm
the day.
On 16 July. I'm a Cancerian.
Is the star sign important to you?
Yeah.
Really? Are you big into that?
I like it. I like
really. Do you like read these when it says Aries? Today this month is going to be a month.
Not a lot these days, but I used to when I was a kid.
Really?
And I still do. I ask people what their signs are, and they do kind of behave like the sign explains. So I kind of believe in that.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to put you in the spot. What star sign am I? I mean, maybe before you answer, we've already met before.
Yes.
But do you actually remember when we met?
I do. It was when I was a student and you were a student. I think you were doing your PhD.
It's like more than 20 years ago.
Shit.
Yeah, I realized when preparing for this podcast, it's 20 years ago.
Are we this old?
Yes, we are. But hey, not shying away from my initial question. What do you think is my star sign?
Taurus.
You looked it up, I think. You looked it up, right?
What? I didn't. Are you?
I am Taurus.
Are you serious?
I am Taurus.
Yeah. See?
Wait, now I'm intrigued.
I can read people.
Wait. I mean, now I'm intrigued. Why do you think I'm a Taurus? Let's make this podcast about me.
I didn't really think a lot. I just guessed, actually, to be honest.
Wow, crazy.
I thought of Taurus and Gemini, but then I went with Taurus.
Okay, wow, okay. So let's not make this podcast about me. And make this podcast about you.
I have a superpower. Do you know this?
I just realized. Oh my God. You could start working as an oracle.
I am now I'm getting older. I have to have this magic ball and then start reading people and
I mean, it's always great that when you become older, you develop all these passions or just weird interests, and then saying, "Oh, now I'm really good at mythical or mystical things."
Yeah, I love all these things. And I think also as a Cancerian, as a star sign, these people get attracted to such things. And I am.
Yeah.
I do believe in life after death and everything. You know, my husband is not like that at all.
Yeah. Do you know this Tibetan modjep where you throw these
More.
these
Yeah.
dice or bones? I think sometimes even.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. When I'm really in doubt, I do that.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Where were you born?
I was born in Mysore, India, in South India, but I've never lived there very long. My mother and I left after our father passed away, and then we moved to Ladakh. And I remember quite a bit staying in Ladakh, TCV. Then my mother met my second father, and then they were shifted to New Delhi to work for Minzikan, Tibetan Medical Institute. So yeah, my mother and my father worked there in New Delhi. Then later on, they moved to work for Tibetan Medical Export Import. So my father was the manager, my stepfather, and my mother works as coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So she was mostly occupied with sending Tibetan doctors to Europe and to other countries. Wow. So she actually managed all the visas and stuff.
Okay. Does she still do that?
No. Now she's retired. She's still in Delhi. And
which passport do you carry?
I have French passport because that's what my French father really worked hard for. He really wanted me to have a French passport. So it was really complicating to be a student in France and not have a proper paper, and you have to renew your identity card or something like titre de séjour. It's called every year, and it was better to have a passport to travel around.
Which passport did you have before that?
I have IC, identity card.
Okay, the yellow.
Yeah, it's very it's very, very complicated. Each time you go to the airport, they just kind of flip it around and they will just stop you and go to the other person to ask about it. So every time you travel with this icy thing, it just makes your heart sink.
Yeah, not many people know it,
just
right?
Go like, you just go like, fuck again, you know? I mean,
it's annoying.
Then again, you have to justify yourself so even in India, the Indians even do that. And sometimes I go like, your government gave me this. Do you know that?
And what's your Paiyu? So where are your father and mother actually from?
My mother, I think she's a Tokpa. My stepfather, I think he says Tingri or something. My real father, he's Kirong. But I'm not interested really deep down to go in that because that's how you get separated within ourselves, which I don't like. When people just ask me these kind of questions, I would just say I'm a Tibetan.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I'm a Tibetan, and they say, your father and mother, where are they from? I said, they're from Tibet. And
where do you live now?
I live in France now. Paris is much easier to say Paris, but it's called Aubervilliers. It's not far from Paris.
And my last question of the security check is, have you ever been to Tibet?
No,
never. Okay, so we're done with the security check. And I will come to the second segment. It's called True or False. So the first statement, true or false, is if I want something done right, I do it myself.
True.
You don't believe in teams?
I don't know why I have this habit, but I do want to work as a team. But sometimes when you're leading a team, the others don't have the same motivation as you do for a project or anything. So you have to somehow check on and, try to do it. Or if that person is absent, you have to fill it up. So there are so many other things that make you kind of work more than the others, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I can't be really bothered to explain something to somebody else, and I will just do it myself instead of explaining it.
Yeah, that happens a lot as well, because sometimes when I explain things, what I want to say and how I'm thinking, It doesn't match, like I'm not finding the words and the feelings, and then I'm not able to say it correctly. When you're making a film, you have to communicate a lot. And sometimes, it's a technical thing and you can't really, you don't have the words for it. So I have this habit of waiting and then trying to communicate. And then I don't know how to explain this, but if I can do it myself, I do it. I do it.
Okay.
Not to actually bother the person also. It's just,
That
not
too,
to,
right? Sometimes it feels uncomfortable to ask somebody for help as well.
Yeah,
for me,
that's true. That's true.
So
That's
it
true.
could be a mix of all things. And also, I think the misunderstanding part, saying something and being misunderstood.
And then, the other person gets wrong.
The result comes and it's different and you want it to be.
Exactly.
It's a challenge. So the second true or false is, I want to believe in reincarnation, but I don't.
I truly believe in reincarnation, 100%. 200%.
200% even.
Yeah. More than that. Yeah. I mean, I'm a mystical thing and I believe in all these things, like I question a lot about why am I born actually? What's my purpose? What was I? That the reason that I have this opportunity or this lack or that lack, so you kind of go within yourself to understand it. And if there's no reincarnation, then how do you explain, the happiness that we have?
What do you think were you before that? Before now, I mean. Do you have a theory?
I don't know. Sometimes when I talk to my mother, I feel like I'm her mother. I was before or something. Am I who got back? I have this deja vu kind of feeling sometimes, and I used to get teased at school in TCV. I used to have a very blonde kind of hair, not very black, but blondie. So they would say oh, you're not Tibetan, you're mixed, and tell me who your father is. Not mean, but they were curious, right? I mean, as a kid, they're kids as well. I used to question that, why am I like this? And there's so many other things. You wonder why you lost your country. Why are you in India, born in India? Why? So many whys there.
I mean, so it's all about purpose, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's purpose, and also why you're doing what you're doing also. Even though it doesn't make your life, but you're still so obsessed with what you're doing. It's always linked with maybe your past life in a way, so that's why I kind of connect with the reincarnation and everything. And what the Tibetans see as reincarnation is a, a big thing, His Holiness is reincarnated of, the 13th Dalai Lama. So, but we as a normal person, we also get reincarnated from our past, or what kind of baggage we have or what kind of talent we have. Maybe we come back, That's why we say learn as much as you can, because these are the things you can bring to your next life, and not to hog on, money and all these things, because these are the things that you can't carry with you when you die, right?
You can't take
so I do believe in this, try to put more, learn more, do good. So these are the things that can come back to you.
Okay, interesting. Have you ever thought about the purpose of dreaming, why we dream?
Dream?
Yeah.
Now don't go there because it's very deep. I note down what I dreamed of.
Hey, I do the same thing. Same thing. High five, digital high five.
Yeah, I do keep it because I have weird dreams, and sometimes it's a warning, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's, so I try to figure this out, what does it mean? And there are dreams that I used to have when I was in TCV growing up, but I have dreams that I still remember very clearly what dream that was. And there are dreams that, that doesn't make much sense, but there are a few significant dreams that I still wonder what it's supposed to mean.
Like what? Can you share one?
Oh my God. I mean, should I? Because I don't want to be called crazy later on.
I mean, what I do? What I do is I sometimes write down my dreams once I wake up. I usually dictate them into my phone because I'm so tired at that stage, right? And then usually during the day I will read them, and very often I don't remember them anymore.
Yeah,
I will just read them and say, who wrote this? What is this? And it's so scary at the same time, but so interesting. I have this friend, she's a psychologist. I met her recently and I read one of the dreams, which I found really strange. And she said, there's also this type of dream where it's so crazy and incoherent that the professionals call it irrelevant dream. It might have a purpose, but it has no special meaning. It's just because it's all over the place. And she said, usually they focus on dreams which are recurring, which you remember even after a long time.
I did have a dream about this window wide open, and I'm inside the room, and there's this woman standing right there outside the window, and she's not moving. She's just like, straight up like this, and her hair is like this short, but I can't see her face, and she's there, and I'm just like, what is, like, I'm so scared, and I'm like, now I'm still wondering who she is. In school, when I was a kid also, I dreamt about, I remember when you have to go to the toilet, you have to get out from a dormitory room, and then the toilet is outside, in TCV. So I remember that I woke up and suddenly I need to go to the toilet, and then I run to go to the toilet. I'm so scared because everyone's like asleep and it's dark, and then I'm going alone. I'm so scared. And then I go into the toilet, and then when I came out, there's this woman with, wearing like how you see on the, like a Palden Lamo, you have all this, I don't know what she is, but she just comes out from that bathroom, and she says something like, "You don't see me."
Okay.
And I was so scared, and I was like, damn, now how will I go back to my room? And suddenly I woke up, and actually I was asleep in my room, in the bed. So it was a dream, and I was so relieved because I could just sleep,
But that's the best
I just
feeling.
don't have to.
But that's the best feeling when you wake up from a bad night.
Yeah, and I don't have to run and hide and all this because, I'm like suddenly I'm with all the other kids like sleeping. Before I started my master's in fashion in Paris itself, I dreamt about this woman in black, and I'm in Paris and I'm walking around and she's following me around. And then what she says was very weird. She said something like, "You don't see that I'm not wearing any shoes." And I look at her, like she's not wearing any shoes. And I don't know what it means. And it still haunts me. Like, what does it mean?
I'll ask my friend. I'll let you know.
I know that, the dream itself is linked with your fear, your anxiety, your memories, everything. But how about a dream that you dream about someone you never know? You can't figure out their face. How about, somebody saying such things like, okay, you don't see that I'm not wearing any shoes. What does it mean? I mean, it didn't happen in my real life or something. So yeah, I separate these things. I love reading people or, knowing other people's dream and their stories, because this is what nourishes me, right? I mean, I have also my own big mind where there's so many things that I'm still yet to figure out.
We're coming back to true or false, and
okay.
I will tell you the third statement I prepared. It's, I believe my movies are a form of activism, not just artistic expression.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of emotions there because, we say free Tibet, we shout free Tibet. And when you look for the word freedom in a dictionary, what does it really mean? How do you explain freedom? What is freedom? It's not just about a country. It's about your voice, your expression, free enough to explain how you feel, free enough to show what you want to show. If the country is not free, then of course we are dominated by another country that let us not speak about certain things or do that or be killed or anything. But if we are a free country and then we are not able to express ourselves, not really be able to be ourselves, then what is freedom? Growing up, you have rules of how you should behave, how you should be talking things. I think I want to really look for the word freedom, and do we really understand it? So are we free enough? Born in a free country like India and being now in a free country like France, you can actually talk freely about any kind of religion. And if you don't agree, you can also express yourself freely about it, right? What's most beautiful and most thing about Tibet itself is that we, throughout centuries, what we have done is taken the good from others. Like, see, Buddhism is not ours. It's not born in Tibet. it is from India. Language itself, Thumisambora went to India to get inspired, or, kakakanga that we write down is actually the kakakanga, the Indian, right? And even with Japanese, I've noticed that, they say ichi son shi, and then we say jigni som shi.
Yeah, yeah.
So the cuisine, the food that we eat is also from Mongolia or China. And the clothes that we wear, the nampu, like nampu might be very Tibetan, but the brocades and everything is from some other country. The Tibet, for me, is a country that is so good at knowing what others have and be able to earn it and learn it and then make it our own. Now the Tibetan people are known for its Buddhism, the religion, His Holiness Dalai Lama. So it's great. If Tibet becomes free, then I would really like to see that they have the best example of a country, and then adapt to it rather than the bad countries that we don't want to be like.
I really like how you share, your train of thought. I can totally relate to that. You had so many points you were raising. How important is it for you how people perceive you? Is that something you spend a lot of time thinking about?
Maybe in my 20s, I used to have I want to be beautiful. I want to be this and that. But now, getting old, I have less of that. And I just really, Namri, to be honest with you, I just want to survive.
Yeah.
Maybe a woman who did what she said she will do. And she did it. Because I remember, in my early years in TCV school, I used to tell everyone that I'm going to be a fashion designer. And I remember the girls laughing behind my back. For me, it was so serious. I remember buying this fashion book where I paid 95 rupees. That was a lot for a school kid. And I bought it during my vacation. And it was a book this thick where you have all the fashion details of how to draw skirts and collars and stuff. And I used to take it so serious, Namri. I used to sketch it down. And then when I was doing my master's in Paris, and I'm just looking at myself and I'm like, whoa. I did wanted to learn fashion, and I actually was in Paris, and I was in the best of school in learning fashion, and I met the best of people in fashion. I worked for an Armani fashion show, and that was happening in Place de la Concorde. There was a boutique, Armani boutique, and it was a very weird feeling. You have to now go inside the Armani shop, which is a big deal. You can't afford their clothes, of course, but the fact that I'm going inside, it felt like, oh, now I'm entering one of my lamas.
You must have felt a world away from Dharamsala.
It's just weird. You learn about his name so much. Great. And then suddenly you are at this place. When I told my mom about this, she just made wow, what's the big deal now? She just puts me down right there. But I'm like, Mom, I achieved something. I worked as somebody who was working behind the scene in the fashion show. So you have to dress up all the models, and the models actually are the models you see on magazines. So it's like, whoa. So all this was very shocking and everything mixed up. And so all this experience of seeing all these designers that you learned about when you were in India, like Jean-Paul Gaultier, I just bumped into him in a party, and he was with his champagne, and he's looking around as if somebody has to come to me and talk. And I'm in front of Jean-Paul Gaultier, and I'm like, what can I say? I can't say anything. I just turned and went away. So there's so many surreal moments like this with big designers. When you really want to do something, you have to believe in it, and you have to work on it, and you will be there. That's what I learned, I think. Mm-hmm. But now, as an adult, not a kid anymore, I have this less. So it really does affect me, actually.
Wow, okay, yeah.
You still have to have big dreams and think you can achieve that. And even growing up in TCV, it was impossible. How can you, think about, someday you will be in Paris? You never thought about it, but you are here.
When I was younger, I thought a lot about what other people thought of me. I grew up in a very white city in Germany, and we were the only foreign-looking people, at least in my perception. And whatever I did, I didn't want to do anything wrong, because if I did, then people would think, oh, look, the foreigners did something wrong, and things like that. So, during school, it was always a lot of thinking about how people think about me, what I do, what I say, and so forth. And the older I get, the less I care, and I'm super happy about it. No, it's just like
That's
even with this podcast, I would have never started the podcast like 20 years ago, because I would have said, what are people going to say? He's doing this podcast. Does he think he's some great hotshot? Talk to these people and so forth. Now I say, I don't care. No, but also I learn things. I get to know people on a different level.
Maybe kids like us who grew up in a big TCV school, and we are less aware being a brown or, a Tibetan in a white country. But with us, we are all growing up wild, like fighting and yeah. I used to get bashed up, and it was rough and tough.
Oh,
it was rough and tough.
I will give you one more true or false segment, and then we'll move on with the podcast. It is at work, I sometimes have to be confrontational, although I don't want to be.
True. Should I talk about it?
I wrote something down which I identify with as well, and I thought maybe.
I think this is with everybody. It's with everybody.
I don't know. People.
The work. I mean, what I like. See,
not everybody's confrontational. Now, some people will never get out of that cocoon.
See, since we are born, if it's confrontational, and then we have to sort of sort it out, and then have another day. I mean, if it's very peaceful, that means we're dead.
Okay, statement of the day.
As long as we have problems, that means we are alive.
The more I think about it, the sadder I'm becoming. Okay, the good news is we've finished the true or false segment after a few minutes.
Okay.
We'd met before in Paris more than 20 years ago, which is crazy. But we didn't meet often. And we didn't talk so much back then. Right now, I think we've already been talking more than we ever did when we.
Back those days, I remember your very dirty jeans that you're so proud of.
I have so many of these APC jeans, and I'm still very proud about all my dirty jeans. And you can quote me on that.
And comme des garçons.
All these things. I spent so much money on fashion back then. Now I'm totally on Uniqlo, and just this shirt, I just realized it's older than 20 years. This jeans shirt I'm wearing right now.
Great. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm proud of me as well.
Good.
Thank you very much.
That's true. I only have Uniqlos these days.
And back then, I remember, Dazel, she's not like the other Tibetans, I realized, which is a good thing in my book.
Thank you.
Definitely is, yeah. Like recently, I stumbled across your latest movie project, Dharamsala. And I thought, Dazel, yeah, what's she been doing? I mean, all these movies. I'd heard of your former movie projects, and I have to admittedly, I mean, shame on me, I have not seen your former projects.
It's okay.
I've read about them, but I've never seen them. And then I thought, when I saw this movie project, this looks really cool. The trailer was super enticing, and I thought, hey, I'm going to reach out to her. And I was really kind of reluctant, because I thought, maybe she'll find it weird. But even friends sometimes, I find it strange to call them. I think, should I call him or her? We haven't talked for like 6 months. Isn't that weird? Do you have that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like for me, when you followed me on Instagram, I was like, Namri?
No, not him.
And then the thing was like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? For so many years, and I'm like, I see you again. Most of the time when people reach me, it's more like, okay, now, what did I do? And, I just have to, again, adapt to...
But in a negative way? I mean...
I don't know. I can't really put it negative or positive. See, like recently I met my old friend, one of my classmates. So it's been more than 20 years, of course. So I've seen her time to time in Belgium, but that was long ago as well. So time has passed, and she suddenly told me, Dazel, I'm in Paris, let's catch up. I'm like, okay. Then when we catch up, we talk a lot about our past,
Yeah.
how we were
Sure.
in the school and how we used to be and what we used to talk about, what kind of topic, Bollywood, oh, this and that, oh, she has become this and that, So you go to another zone and then suddenly you're pulled into sort of another layer. So for me, it takes a while to sort of like get prepared and then go in, like,
When you meet an old friend from, let's say, 30 years back from school
yeah.
time, you might fall back into these old roles, which you might not even be happy about. I mean, I'm not happy about falling back into my old role.
She was a very good memory for me, and she's a very nice person. So I was always grateful for her. She's the one who never used to laugh at me and who used to enjoy my dance moves.
Right.
And when I say like I want to be a designer, she was like, "Wow." She wouldn't laugh at me. But those who laugh at me, those who kind of, pulled me down or, bullied me in a way, I don't see them. I don't want to go through this whole emotion again. I remember this girl, like, she's eating her biscuit. I would just like, you just beg.
Yeah.
And she would just say like, she would just kind of eat it in front of me and say like, it's you. That's why I'm not giving it to you.
So mean.
So yeah, I have these memories, and if these people come back in my life, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I don't want to have any communication.
Not at all. Not at all.
When even people say like, oh, now we are all grown up, we are all different, we should get together. No. Sometimes you draw boundaries and you forget it and you want to be nice, but they never change. It's just a different makeup, but the same person. You know what I'm saying?
The older I get, the more I realize I don't need to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't need to be friends with people from the past who I had a great time sharing my life with.
Yeah.
But I think we all moved on.
I think we don't want bad things for them. And also I avoid those whom I feel like maybe I'm not a good person for them. I avoid this because sometimes you are so like habitué, like habit-wise, you just take certain people for granted. And sometimes you say like, it's better, Dazel, because now it's not, you have your consciousness saying that it's not good. So I avoid it as well because it's not good. I'll just be alone by myself and it's okay.
And so you already touched upon, you grew up in India, you went to TCV in Ladakh.
Ladakh. Maybe 2 years there. I was only 6 or 7.
You went to TCV in Dharamsala as well?
Yeah, I grew up basically in Dharamsala TCV, like upper TCV school.
What would you say, looking back, what was your childhood like?
For me, it was a lot of fun, other than all the bullies that happens.
That sounds terrible.
It is terrible, but it's a survival as well. If you're a bunch of kids put together in a room, of course, there will be one that will try to lead, and they're the one who is so scared. When you have a group of people, it always happens, even in the office scene or everywhere. There is the one who's too shy, the other one who thinks who is the macho one,
yeah, the cool cat,
and the pretty girl, and then the one who's fat there in the corner. In TCV, it used to be so much fun because there's so many kids to play with. And I used to do a lot of choreography, like dance.
Yeah, you were saying.
I used to teach them Bollywood steps,
You watched the Bollywood movies and you learned them and then you taught them?
Yeah. If I'm the older one, and then I will have all the little ones come and then teach them dance. And I used to have Enid Blyton books that I read. I love fairy tales, elves and stories. I remember like writing them as a script. So I used to photocopy it, pay it myself, and worry about like, oh, if I have enough money. And I'm letting these kids rehearse dialogues written in English, and they have no clue what it is all about. And sometimes I used to let them sing in chorus. I remember this song from Boyz II Men, I Swear. Do you remember?
Yeah, a popular karaoke song. I swear.
So I used to have all these little kids, like, like little ones there and the older ones up. I swear. And they would sing. And later it was such a funny thing. Everywhere you go, inside the toilet, someone is singing, I swear.
By the moon
and then the other one would, complete the song.
Across the aisle of the toilets.
They're kids, right? So they don't really know the meanings or the words of it. So they would just make their own words and sing it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What made you want to teach them to do the dances?
I have no clue. I just want to entertain. I just want to make them happy. I used to also host Miss Tibet that time.
Oh, wow. Okay, before the official Miss
Yeah,
Tibet thing.
before Miss Tibet happened.
You were actually the one who invented it.
So yeah, in school, I used to be quite busy with doing all these things.
So these were more like the good experience, and the bad experience. Can you still talk about it, or is it something you?
The bad ones.
Yeah, the bad experience.
The bad experiences mostly because of myself, maybe because my character is someone loud, maybe, and then when I see something wrong or I feel like it's wrong, I just say it and make the other person hear it. And then if that is a boy, he would just beat me up. If that is a teacher, like if you didn't do your homework, or I remember this teacher who didn't like how I walked.
What?
He told me to get out from the classroom.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I did, but he told me to walk out. And my sleeper that time, in Tibetan, we say chapal, chapal. So one sleeper was, that comes out. So I was walking like this, like sometimes my body language looks like a gangster thing. So when I'm going out, I'm like, yeah, okay. So the teacher is like, how dare you? And he just came behind me and then he beat the shit out of me. I think I didn't even realize that I was a woman or a girl or something, because you just toughen up so much that you grow the skin to protect yourself or to be, ready to fight anything. Even if you like someone in school days, you're like, there's nothing romantic there at all. So there's no place for these sweet things. It's just very another different world.
I mean, it's really sad in the sense of that it kind of teaches us that it's maybe best to be very mainstreamy, not confrontational, if not, standing up for yourself, but just, confiding to the rules that are there.
Maybe I'm someone who says things without thinking as well at that point of time. Like I would just laugh at something. So maybe that's not nice to the other person. So you're also not careful about others as well. So for that matter, the other person can't say much. Then they just hit you. That's how they defend themselves, right? The kids, they express it in a very different way. Some laugh it out. Some say it as it is and then get beaten up. Some just won't say anything. Some just want to be the teacher's pet. We all have a different way to, go through it. I remember a moment in class 8 or something. There's a boy who pretty much beats everyone up. And I was so happy to get good marks in science or something that time. And I was so happy. I was like, oh, I didn't learn so much and I got this mark. And I was just, like, telling people, and I think he failed. So suddenly this big kick comes from there. They're just kind of, like this, and you get beaten up for this. So, and the teacher, I remember her, this very beautiful woman. She's from college and just teaching us for a while. She didn't really bother to come and say what is right or tell the boy that it's wrong. And then some guy who was a quiet guy, I remember his face very clearly. He would just, he said something like, "Ya
good thing."
That means like, good for you. You got beaten up. I was so scared. I was so sad that time because you get beaten up for something that you were happy about. And this guy who said, "Ya you got beaten up," is somebody I used to tease a lot. He's such a sweet guy that I used to tease a lot. And I didn't realize that he was being bothered, He gave me this reaction. And from that on, I stopped, talking to him or saying that I don't want to bother this guy anymore. Because every action has a reaction. And sometimes, it happens to you and you learn like this, I think.
Would you say you stayed the same nevertheless? Or did you change after such bad experiences?
I don't know. Maybe as an adult, we become more articulated in these things. So you play it much safer, right? But the game is still on, I think. It happens. But now these boys or that boy won't be able to beat me up openly because then he will know what will happen to him. But then there are other ways that happen, and that's called politics, right? you have to find your ways to do it as well. So I think the game changes.
Yeah.
The thing stays the same, As a kid, you get beaten up physically, but then as an adult, you get beaten up in another ways. And now you have to find how you defend yourself and you work on it.
And what stayed the same with you is your passion for, you said, dance, choreography. You were super intense. Did you have a plan to do something with fashion, or was there no plan?
I was planning since I was in class 7 or 8, I think.
What were you planning?
I was obsessed with the Indian designers that I hear their names. There's Sunit Verma, Rohit Bal, all this, Vijay Javalaya. These are the designers that were there when I was in class 7, and they're still there.
They're still active, yeah?
And sometimes I used to get shocked like this. Naomi Chatterjee, there's this model and she's still modeling.
Good for her.
And that's the difference between the fashion people in India and fashion people in Europe. Like in Europe, time just goes so fast, and new designers comes, and the older ones, if you're able to make it, you make it. Otherwise, you're gone. And the models, it's very, very, even less. But yeah, I was super obsessed with that. But I think every time I push myself so hard towards fashion, it kind of kicks me out.
In which sense?
I did learn, because my French father, he was the one who was my guardian angel, whatever you call it, my real guardian. He gave me the hookup, the opportunity. At the same time, he was someone who just pushed me towards that direction too. Dazel, you have to be, of course, go for this, go for that. So because of that, I'm able to do all my studies in fashion.
But first, you need to explain how this connection with your French father came about.
Well, I don't know. He takes Tibetan medicine. And my mother, and a Tibetan doctor, 2 Tibetan doctors, they came to his place. And my mom mentioned about my crazy passion to do fashion, to become a fashion designer and all. I was 17, 18. Yeah, I was supposed to study in America. It's called Tabor Academy. My father got this, I don't know how, but there's this girl who was selected to go to this Tabor Academy, but they can't send her alone. And they were looking for someone who can go with her. I have to, fill up the form or something, some kind of an exam, and I did it. And actually, they selected me and not the girl.
Okay.
So then suddenly it was cancelled. And I already said goodbye to TCV, and I was down there ready to go to America. But then everything stopped in the middle. And I was like, shit, now what should I do with my life? And my father and my mother, they said, go back to school. I said, I can't go back to school. I'm so embarrassed.
Had you already finished with high school, or did you?
No, I was in the 11th class.
Okay.
11th class, and I have to do my 12th. And I was supposed to, begin this Tabor thing. I got so embarrassed to go back to TCV and do my 12th class. So my mom said, then what will you do? I don't know. And then she said, Dazel, you're passionate about fashion, just go and study fashion designing. But even in fashion school in India, you need to give your 12th result, which I don't have that time. So what I did was I couldn't get into a good fashion school in India, which is called NIFT, NIFT and all this. So I went to a polytechnic where there are so many other courses going on, like secretary course, architectural course and all these things. So for that, it was much easier if you pay them.
Okay.
So I got in there, no confidence at all because of what happened. And then I studied there. And also I gave my 12th exam, the open exam, you can just study at home and go and give your exam. So I did that. So I was doing that, and that got me sort of happy because I was doing something that I really like. But I always felt left out because I remember all my schoolmates up there doing their study. I think I grew up much faster at that point of time. But it was hellish at home because my father is an alcoholic, and he used to sort of, make me feel like you're worthless and all that. So it was like, where should I run? Where should I run away? And I think my mom, and that time this opportunity came for her to, travel in Europe. And she came back and she said, maybe you can. And I didn't do anything, actually. She prepared my paper and all this stuff. And the day I was supposed to leave, my father was drunk. All the family came to drop me. And I swear it was like a movie. Like I ran in that airport just to get into that airplane and just go. Because I said, for me, it felt like at least they'll be happy without me, So I'm not like a burden to them. And I left, and I also wanted to run away from him. And when I came to France, my French father was waiting, and he's a handicapped guy, who can only stand on his feet with his thing. But then I was so happy to get away.
Did you always kind of know you were going to leave Dharamsala behind?
My parents stayed in Delhi, right? So I stayed in Delhi for 2 years, and with my father, it was very difficult. Because my second brother is his son, right? But he was such a drama every night. Such a drama. He would just make a scene and do all these things, but he's such a different person when he's awake. When he goes to his office and come back, he's such a nice person. And he's such an intelligent guy. I asked something about, Buddhism or some philosophical thing. He would just answer me in one word. And I'm like, wow. And at night when he drinks, he's just a different person.
I mean, alcohol is such a beast.
Crazy.
Still,
it's crazy.
I think it's undervalued how negative alcohol
it's
can
crazy.
be.
So yeah, I was so happy to sort of run away from that thing, and I thought that my mom will be much more peaceful. My father would always remind me, like, I didn't even know that he's not my real father. He reminds me, you are not my daughter. And I never wanted to know my real father because I didn't want to hurt this father. So it was interesting, all this experience of, wounded men around you. So I remember running in the airport like this, and the airplane, I get in, and I'm like, whatever happens to me, it's fine. But I just want everyone to be happy without me, and just be able to make myself something. And that's how I came to France.
It's sad and relieving at the same time, listening to you.
Yeah, but also with my French father, he's a person who is handicapped and lives alone and all. And then again, I got this worry, like, what does this man want? He doesn't even know me.
How did this connection actually come about? This French guy who became your French father afterwards.
He tried to help a Rinpoche family from Sikkim. And his daughter, they wanted the daughter to learn French, and she went to live with him and to learn French. But then she left because she was in love and all. And from that on, I think he got this idea that, maybe, he can do that to help someone. At the same time, his mother died, and so he was alone. So I think he felt he needs a company. And then he's also someone who doesn't want to get taken advantage of by a wife or something. So I think me being a foreigner or someone who knows nothing about, the law or anything would just come and he would just, look after me, and that it sort of fulfills his being useful, I think. At later stage, when you get older, of course you want to be useful, you want to help someone. So that feeling gives you the happiness, right? I mean, when you realize it at this age. As a young person, you want to take, right? As an older you get, you want to give.
What was that phase like for you when you first got to Paris? You left India relieved in some way or the other, and you got to something which you knew nothing about.
First, I stayed in Strasbourg for 2-3 years.
Okay.
I did my fashion there. It's a private school, and I studied my fashion there. And that time, I have no clue of the language.
Yeah.
And I thought that everybody speaks English. For me, it's like, yeah, it's okay. Everyone speaks English, but no, French people don't. French people don't. And then, when there's a break, they would just go out and smoke, right? And then when you don't smoke, you're the one, like the weird one inside.
I mean, it's all these cliches, French don't speak English, French smoke.
So then that's how I started smoking as well. But I know that I'll smoke for some reason. I don't know. I want to piss off people who think, oh, you're a good person, you don't do this. No, I'm not. I'm not.
There's a little rebel in you, yeah?
I want to be honest. I don't want to be good or bad. I just want to be myself.
You said you were focused on fashion when you were young, and it sounds like a dream come true. and you went to France and you did your fashion thing. You were probably better in French. You knew how to smoke, and you knew a lot about fashion. Congratulations, you're now officially French. What happened after you finished graduating?
Well, I thought I would be this big designer somewhere, but it didn't happen. I even got into an interview with Louis Vuitton at that time, and with the HR, what do you call this?
Yeah, the human resources.
I was sitting with this woman, Louis Vuitton woman, and I was asking her, so how does the selection go to become an assistant designer? And she said something which was very interesting. And I'm a Tibetan from India, so do we even have a chance? And she says, like, well, the selection is mostly that we consider the Japanese to be creative, the Belts to be creative, the French, the Americans. Like, if you are from this race or that country, you're considered to be creative because of the designers that they have, like the English people, like Galliano, McQueen. Belgium, there were big designers from Dreyfuss to Demeulemeester to all these big designers. Marta Margiela is from Belgium. So all these big ones. And France, yeah, of course, a few of them. And then China is known for copying, of course. Tibetans never heard of it. They see more as a Buddhistic thing. And then they see the Indians as more as a factory than designers. So I think you are categorized already according to where you're from. It's a big chance. But you already needs to come from a background that shouts fashion, right? We came from a background which is more survival.
Yeah.
So how will we know how to put out fashion that they have, right? We become more the manufacturers, the one who does these little things rather than have the vision for the fashion. So even though I try so hard, my survival instinct is still there. How I was born, how I grew up, right? And these people who are now big designers, I'm sure that they have a background of like, yeah, my grandmother used to sew and she taught me, or my father is a painter. We don't have these kind of stories. So I think it has to come from certain backgrounds where it links to fashion directly. And yeah, I went through a hard time not accepting that, but even also to have a brand, you have to have a lot of money. Because, I tried. I have my own, I did have my own brand for 2 or 3 years, but you do prototypes, right? Like you do whole collection and then you present in those salons. The fashion week happens and then you go and present it. It already costs for 4 days. It costs a lot. And then during that period, the buyers would come and the question would be like, so do you have everything in stock? Because if they order, you need the stock. And the stock means if you make a jacket, you need to have in 5 different sizes, right? But now to buy the fabrics, if you choose Italian fabrics, and then you manufacture it in maybe Italy or maybe in India, less expensive, let's say 5 different sizes. And each different size, you just say 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. How much will it cost for one garment? Just calculate all these things and then say, do you have the money for it? I did it all alone. My husband is not bothered. He's not interested in what I was doing. I like creation. I like designing. I like doing the videos. I like doing all this creative stuff. But like my former boss, who I assisted at, he would say, Dazel, 10% is creation, 90% is hard work in fashion. And he's true, and I know how he struggled and I have been his assistant in bags, but the struggle is very similar. In bags, at least you don't have the size. Also in fashion, when you work for someone, you need to understand his or her background or what kind of things that the designer likes, and you have to adapt to that and create for that. When I went to work for Demeulemeester in Belgium, everything is black. Everything is black. And I worked cutting all these very expensive clothes, like fabrics, which can cost like a meter, might be in 90 euros or 100 euros a meter of fabric that come from Japan and all. And when you go and work for another designer, Jean-Jacques de Castelbajac, he is very, very colorful. When you go into his office, everything is color. So I loved working all this. And Isabelle Marot, you have known. She is cool. Each time you work for a designer, you have to adapt to his or her vision, his or her taste and everything. So where is you? You know, where are you? Like, what can you bring? So also you're very replaceable. Like another creative person comes, you can easily be out. So for that matter, even Isabel Marot asked me to stay. I didn't stay. I said like, oh, I want to do my master's in fashion because I was not confident enough.
So you're working all for these different brands while you were studying.
Yeah, I did all these things. I had all this beautiful experience working for very, very different. Bakwa Rabanne was very different, very metallic thing. Then Demeulemeester was all black and very, very good experience, very hard work. And then Jean-Jacques Castelbajac, I did all this headwear stuff for the fashion show. And Jérôme Dreyfuss is the one who I actually interned at and then like really worked for.
Did you have a good time working in fashion? Did you enjoy that?
This ambition that you have from childhood, I really wanted to prove myself that I can do it. And then I really wanted to give a good example. And later on, the fact that I'm not able to express myself made me kind of not like it. And also when working for Jérôme, the bag designer, Jérôme Dreyfuss, he's well known in Paris. So I have to sometimes count leathers. And there was a moment where I was counting those leathers and suddenly these are all animals, right? I mean, dead animals, their skin, and it smells, right? The animals smell. And suddenly I have a vision of me being surrounded by all these sheep.
Yeah. Wow.
And I at that time I felt awkward, like this, and I had this like this, and
something changed then.
Yeah, like maybe it's not worth doing leather, and since you are a Tibetan, you came from certain culture and tradition and belief, and it collides because of your own ambition to be, working in fashion and all that doesn't have so much of that education of being a Tibetan. I think it collides. And you are in that confusion.
And what's your relationship with fashion nowadays?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing, but I'm not bothered about people who are so fashionable and who tries to show off. That's the good part. I'm not bothered by them. At school, I was bothered because I was like, oh my God, this person has these shoes or that shirt or this thing that I wanted and I can't pay for it. But now I don't have that anymore, which is such a relief. I don't have any craving for a Vuitton bag or Hermes or whatever. I don't crave for all this luxury stuff at all.
You were saying that you really wanted to express yourself. It sounded as if you didn't really find it in fashion. Is that why you switched to movie making? You're a director and you were obsessed with fashion. So was there like a slow process moment when something happened within you?
Well, film is something that I see it as something unachievable.
Even more crazy than fashion?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Film is always there, actually, Namri. Like, whenever I feel sad, I'll watch a film.
Okay.
Whenever I feel like I did something great, I'll like give myself a gift and go to see a movie. Well, everything was movie for me, like my thing with fashion, I work and then I go and watch a film.
Okay.
So I was more obsessed with film, and sometimes like during those period where I know you in Paris, if I go back to my place, I mean, I always have those DVDs, like 6, 7 ones. One time I said, I'm going to watch all the horror movies possible.
Oh my God.
So I would just have all the horror movies all together and then watch it one after another. And then there was this new horror film that just came out. And I said, like, let's see how it's done. And then I watched that horror film in a hall, and there was only 2 person watching it. The one guy was down there and I was up there. And I watched it and I could say like, okay, this is from Evil Dead. This is from this horror that I saw. This is from that. So it was a collage of different horror films put together. It's Silent Hill. So I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. But I think in your psyche, in your mind, when you watch the film, it's like, I'm not scared. Oh, I can watch this. But actually in your psyche, it is scared. Okay. So what happens is later you develop panic attack.
Oh my God, no.
No, you have to be careful what you feed your brain because you test yourself to such extreme that later it does affect your body. Yeah.
Is there like a specific movie you like to watch when you were especially sad or happy?
Say like the moment I felt like I can make a movie or I want to make a movie was a film, let's say, not movie, because movie sounds too big for me. I saw this movie, The Piano by Polonsky.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was a scene where the old man walks on the street, and suddenly this Nazi army kind of slaps him on the face. And then he says, "You're walking on the wrong path," or something, because he's a Jew. And this happens, and that, seriously, Namri, it hit me so hard. Why could that young man hit the old man? Because we as Tibetans, we grew up respecting the older. We have this thing, right? And I was alone that time watching the film, and I swear I cried for 30 minutes right there. Like after the film, I cried. I just couldn't put it all together. It just made me so angry. And suddenly I got obsessed with, learning more about this director and reading about his interviews and all. And that time when the film was out, Polonsky explained that it actually happened to his father. Then I realized that, so he took his own example of his life and put it out there in his film. That connected to me. Oh, okay. That's possible. You can have your experience and then can put it out there, seeing so many films, not just Bollywood, Hollywood, but have a film from Malaysia, Philippines, or a film from a country that you never heard of, or you heard of, but you never thought that they make film. So you say, this is possible. A Tibetan film is possible in this category. You have this, because when you grow in India, you only see big films like the Hollywood ones or the Bollywood ones, and you hardly have an example to say that, yeah, you can make your own film. And then my friend, my fashion, one girl, she's my good friend that time. She's obsessed about movies, and she used to tell me a lot about French films. And then one time she invited me to her home in Lyon. She wanted to make her film. And I said, I'll help you. So that's how I think I hold my first camera, and she wanted to be a director, but then she doesn't write. And I have to okay, now you have to be specific, write it down. And the fact that I saw her wanting to do it, but then she doesn't do it. She wanted to be an actress more, I think. And I filmed her thing, her little thing. And from that on, I said yeah, I can do it. I think I can do it. At that feeling, And
that was after you've closed the book on fashion, or was that during that time?
No, I was working for Jérôme that time, and the Olympic game was happening, happening in China, 2008. Jérôme and I, we have the same office, and he always listened to radio, and he puts the radio on, and what was happening in Tibet was on. And then the French, I think they're very sensitive towards what's happening in other countries and all. So they were talking about Tibet and what's happening there, and people are rebelling and they're getting caught and killed, whatever. My boss, he's a Jew guy, so he's very sensitive towards these matters. And he said, I'm so sorry, this is happening. Let me put the radio louder. And I'm making sketches, beautiful sketches, say, this pocket, that's pocket, I should put it here. So suddenly this contrast of what I was hearing and what I was doing. Yeah. So I said, what the hell, this bag would be just bought by some rich French woman who only wants to put her makeups and all, and that doesn't serve any purpose in life. I mean, so I felt so suddenly, this thing. I was like, okay, this is happening in Tibet. You are moved because you are Tibetan. You are, concerned because you're connected. But then I went into the toilet. I remember I was crying. I didn't know what to do. And the office was at Basti. The Basti is the place where the French Revolution happened, and all the people, they demonstrated and everything. And I said, okay, what will happen if I go out and shout for Tibet? I just thought of it, and then I said, okay, you are one person, you will shout, and people will think you're crazy.
Yeah.
So the impact was so low, and I didn't have any role model to follow. I only have His Holiness. I don't have any other person that I would say, okay, you lead and I'll really follow. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that urge to anyone else, actually. So I felt very confused and helpless, let's say. And from there on, I said, just do your what you can do best, or what you can do. And then the idea of a film came, and I wanted to know what the young generation feels and think, and how they react and how they talk. Because at that time I was young. So we at that time, when we speak Tibetan, oh, it's not good enough. If you have an opinion, if you say it, oh, it's not like this, the history says this and that. So every time there's blockages, you know? So I said, okay, then if everything needs to be so perfect, what about the voices that's not heard? That's not perfect, but it has so much to say and so much to show, as well as how we feel. So where does this all go, you know? So like your podcast, right? The way you thought about building up and why you do it, I had that towards when I was making my first film.
Is it fun to direct a movie?
I love it when I'm on the spot where I'm doing it. I love it when I'm developing it. When I made the first seat, I made it with an 8mm camera, which I bought in an antique shop, which I had no clue if it was working or not, because you don't see anything like the digital one. So I had a digital camera and the 8mm camera. So we filmed it that way, and I had no clue how the sound works. So we need to record the sound apart. I didn't even know how to structure the stories and seeing how I show it and what. I didn't know anything. But since I have the fashion base, I thought it will be similar. If you are interested and obsessed, I think it doesn't let you go. It just kind of sticks around you in your skin, right? You find a way. Even though you don't know, you will find someone who knows it, right? So you try to get it or extract it or pay it or whatever. See, it was just a test to see if I can make a film. I wouldn't say it's a perfect film or anything, but it was definitely honest. And also to catch the language, how we speak normally to one another. If Namri and we both speak, you have an accent from your surrounding. I have my accent from TCV or wherever I'm from. If I talk to an elder, I have a different way to speak to him. Definitely. I wouldn't use the word fuck or anything, right? I will just speak to him respectfully. Then I will have another kind of friend who doesn't like me speaking in certain ways, like using slang languages or bad ones. So I will speak more respectfully. And then I have those friends who would just like me talking the slang ones. So I would speak in that way. So we have all this different way of speaking to one another. What I didn't like when I saw a few Tibetan films, well, let's say, like when I hear how theatrical it is, how we try to speak it so nice that it's not real.
Well, it's like when you listen to Tibetan news, I find it so difficult to listen to that because it's just not how we speak.
Yeah, like this person needs to speak the certain standard and certain way to deliver his speech, right? But when you show a film has to reflect what reality is sometimes and how we are within ourselves. And if we try to purify it, it is more towards pretentiousness, I think. If we are showing something that we don't normally do it, then I think you are already lying. Like, say, if you're trying to show the Tibetans are all very good and they only speak Shesa and they don't do anything bad and they don't smoke, they don't drink. They are very, very kind towards one another. they always pray from,
we always help each other. We all know each other, by the way.
Of course, there are people like, who are maybe like this, but then there are a certain percentage of us, we are not like this. With me, it's more like challenge to record the dialects that we have, the exile-born dialect. We mix a little bit of Hindi, we mix a little bit of English, we have our own, it's rough. It's not very pretty to hear, but it is. It is. What it is, it is.
It is like that.
So, but then I think the cinema language, like the Hollywood and Bollywood, they have a cinema language. We don't have it, right? Because there's not so many films out there and we don't have so many examples to say that, okay, this is how it is. What I understood is that film is a way to actually show and really share human experience and be honest about it, and to reflect our own self in them and people can relate to more easily. I think it's a very, very strong, or let's say powerful media, very powerful. In the early years, China has used it as propaganda, learning it from Russia, like Stalin or these Russian politicians that they take examples from, and then they try to make it propaganda kind of. So for me, when China is trying to show a country that is beautiful and everyone's wearing beautiful chuba and dancing in the fields, if we are doing a film where everything is so perfect, like, oh, look at us, either it's like, then we will be doing like them. We won't be so different from them. We need to really, really speak the truth and really show what we go through, our emotion level, so that we can connect to other humans in a very universal way, so that the people can understand us.
How do Tibetans actually react to you when you tell them you're a director of movies?
I don't tell them. I don't go around and tell that I'm a director. No, I'm actually embarrassed. I do love doing what I do, but since I don't earn from it, I don't go around and say I do what I do. I'm very happy. And if I should say, when I showed my first film Seeds in a small cinema hall here in Paris, I was actually thanking each and every person coming out from the theater.
Wow.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching my film. I think director is something very prestigious name, or this very catchy or very cool thing, right? But the way I make films, the way I go through, I don't feel like I enjoy that I had it. Maybe a little bit here and there. When I get invited to Columbia University to present my film, that's an honor. And I go there and it's like, wow, thank you so much.
Your interest seems to be really pure. And when YouTube started many years ago, nowadays there's so many YouTube people. I'm sure some of them started because they wanted to do something, just put it out there, their content. And at some stage, they became huge YouTubers and they even started making money. Their intent was pure, right? That's something I can hear from what you're saying, that it sounds as if your intent to make movies is very pure and it moves beyond the stereotypical mountains and monks. That's what I thought when I saw that trailer about Dharamsala, your upcoming movie. I thought, but it looks cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
I looked at the trailer, I thought, okay, this is also not like the Tibetan movies I have seen. So I thought, okay, there's a difference to it, but I can feel there's something Tibetan about it. I'm super looking forward to that movie. You had this Kickstarter to fund your movie. You need money to make a movie, right?
I made my Royal Cafe, the film Royal Cafe, without any money, because I knew that, there will be people be interested in being, acting. So somehow recruited the actors. And I think Pema Shitsitsang, who played Dazel in the film, I met her in Tibetan Festival in Zurich. And she's someone, the only time when I feel like I'm an important director, she's the only person making me feel that way.
Oh.
She would just make me feel like, wow, I'm doing something good. She would really make me feel confident. She believed in me and she really liked my first film. When she said, yes, she will play the part, I didn't really have a script that time for Royal Cafe, and she really wanted to work with me. And I remember meeting her father as well, and her father said like, "Oh, you girls should do something together," And later, her father passed away, and I think for me it was these little moments. Like I said, I believe in all this mystical stuff, right? She sort of carried the film and helped me throughout, and we became good friends, and how we interacted. It was very fulfilling. So I think when I made Royal Cafe, she said, okay, Dazzle, then send me the script then. I don't have a script. Also, the guy I found to do the filming, he said, okay, Dazzle, send me the script. So I was like, damn it. So for me, it was very hard to write. And then I started writing, and it was a 16-page script. And I sent it to both of them, and I wasn't confident. But then both of them agreed and said like, okay. So the other guy helped me. The French guy who wanted to film the thing, he said that he wanted the director's name. And I said, yeah, I can share the director's name. And then he was ready to do it. And he said, okay, I'll bring out all the technical things. And then with Pema, she read it and she said she liked it. So that's how we sort of did Royal Cafe without any money. And she also, contributed in a big, big way. Like She came to see me here. I went to see her at her place. Since she was playing Dazel, she needs to get into my skin, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So we kind of mixed Pema and Dazel. Since she's from Switzerland, she needs to be a Swiss person, right? And I'm from France. And when she said that, Dazel, can I change my hair to blonde to resemble you? And then that time I said, okay, this film is happening.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and really she gave a lot to this film, and I'm very, very thankful to her.
You suddenly had a budget for your new movie, Dharamsala.
For Dharamsala, yes. Because for Dharamsala, I became so confident after Royal Cafe, saying that people liked it. Weird. I said like, yeah, I can do much better. So that kind of motivated me, and I said like, yeah, let's do it. And I have another good friend, Somo. Then she's a creative person I've never met. I mean, in person. But she saw my first film and she liked it, and that's how we connected. So we call each other, we give each other confidence and everything. She said, Dazzle, you can do it. People will, of course, back you up. So yeah, we always need friends like this, you know. And then, yeah, that gave me courage to sort of put the crowdfunding out there. And also not to forget Gyatsola, who plays a character in the film.
And Lawson Gyatso, he is the husband of Tenjo Gyatsola, right?
Yeah.
Because I talked with her for Out of Tibet as well, and it was really good. There were so many people who were participating, in your upcoming movie. I saw Tenor Shalo. He's there as well, and I met him just this year when I went to Dharamsala. I didn't know him before, but I have to admit, although I wear Uniqlo most of the time, I still like to look at clothes. And I saw this place, Charlot. It has really cool clothes. And so I bought something then, and I got talking to this guy, and it turned out it was Tenor.
Yeah.
So we just chatted, and I thought, oh, he's a really funny guy. And then we chatted a bit about this and that. And then I was looking at your list of actors and actresses. I saw, hey, this guy. I know this guy. That reference you made with the piano and how it resonated, that one scene, this inhuman behavior of this young German Nazi slapping this older man. Is there any specific moment or memory from your own time in Dharamsala or from you in general that you captured for your own movie as well?
Not like this. Not like that at all. When I was in India, after I left school, there was this channel called Star Plus. That time it was very new to have all the other channels that you can watch on TV. Because before that it was only one channel, and then later on there were so many channels, and it was called Star Plus or something. There was a Hollywood film called Sleepers.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Yeah, Sleepers. They used to play this film again and again. Each time I see this film, it kind of triggers me. It's about sexual abuse, which never happened to me, but it kind of reminded of how it's very brutal, of course. But it felt like I connected to the mischievous boys, and how the authority, how some teacher used to be with us. And it used to anger me. It used to give me so much of feelings that you're not able to express it. You feel anguish, but then to put it out there, it's not good. It's violence. But then you still hold it inside you, in your body. I think this film stayed in my mind somehow for so long. And I think Dharamsala, I tried to have a very Bollywood approach to the film. Tenzin Dazel. He's a big artist, painter. He's my classmate as well. So he used to be one of the mischievous guy, We were the backbenchers in a way. He saw Royal Cafe as well. And then Tinder saw the film and wrote an article on Huffington Post that was so nice of him. But I never thought that he would do such thing, but he did. And then also the first time I got invited to Columbia University, there was Tender who connected me. I don't know, with the intellectuals, I would say, the Tibetan intellectuals, they liked the film. But then a Tibetan woman who helped me to have one of the Amala's mother's voice in the film for Royal Cafe. So I showed it to her. And she watched Royal Cafe like this.
With a frown. She didn't like it.
Her expression was like,
What is this?
and then she turned and like, "Timore." You know, it's like,
Oh,
is it a
okay.
film?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it's a film. It's like,
But maybe it's because some people view movies and films to escape from reality, and they don't want to see reality, I guess. And your movies are very realistic, from what I can tell.
When she said that, and the only part she liked was Pema Shitsu-sang speaking in Swiss German.
Okay, that I like.
And since she was so fluent in it, like she was like, "Oh, sure." I don't even.
Are you actually nervous or even afraid of your movie coming out soon?
See, like, normally I'm getting there. So from there on, from there on, I said like, "Oh my, okay, I get it. Wow, how she reacts, and what should I do? I don't want to entertain few intellectuals. I want to get to." Somebody who enjoyed watching the film when I was a kid. When I was in Dharamsala, then I met Tenzin Dazel, who is a professional Bollywood actor, Tibetan. And this is the first time I said like, whoa, this guy, he's something. He has such a voice, like his strength in his voice, and he was looking cute. And I would like the Tibetan girls to go like towards an actor and have poster of Tibetan actors.
The hero.
Instead of, Bollywood or Hollywood, but I think it's changing. There are so many cool Tibetan musicians now. They make beautiful music, rappers, musicians, and they make their own music videos, which are, so cool. Tinami, 8Asian, Kunchops, and Jitashi, all these guys, they are like so cool.
Big.
Like the
really
music.
Big.
And Rita, he's, the ones. They can sing in the language that we speak, right? And they rap on it. And...
Obviously, my favorite is Tip Chick, right? Because
Tip Chick,
because she was also on Out of Tibet.
I like her.
Yeah.
She's very raw and she's very cool. So yeah, I love her. One of the music that she collaborated with Tinami, there's like Sheyo Mare, like something like you don't have to be scared. That's her.
Yeah.
And then there's Ngale. Oh la la. He is a amazing rapper. After Sungi, if you have heard about Sungi, he's a rapper. When I saw him for the first time on Facebook, a little video where he was rapping, I said, dude, this guy got the flow, So I said, like, I need to find this guy and tell him that he needs to make more. Somehow I found that he's in Austria and I know somebody from Austria, and I called him and I said like, oh, who is this guy? I want to encourage this guy. So I got connected to Sungi and I said, Sungi, whatever you're doing, man, just do it. Be unapologetical and just speak your mind. If you want to say fuck off, just say it, in your language. The talent in rap is how you say it, how you poetically put the rhythm in there and, let the people feel what they feel, the anger, the love or whatever, the hate, whatever. And I got Sungi and, he did really, really great rap. And then now this generation with Ngale, he's a banger. Like, I really like how he raps. And Tinami, he has his own charisma. And 8Asian is a Tibetan who raps in English and he has his flow. And everyone got their own shit, like, it's really good.
And the good thing about rap is, it's also, it's always accepted or expected even that they speak their truth. Right? That they are authentic.
If you have noticed, it's the truth, but at the same time, there's advice, there's something good in them. All of them. There are a few, they're trying to be that nasty ones, like the rap scene that we see in America. But
how do we jump from movies to music?
Because I wanted them to be involved in my movies and I have their music in it. I'm so proud of it because what I tried to do, Namri, was we will be humans at this age right now and we will pass out, right? I mean, and I wanted to sort of like freeze the time. Say like at that moment, there was this musician, there was this actor, there was this creative people who tried to create something together. Yishi, amazing. Have you heard of Yishi?
Yeah, she's in New York. I think she's in New York or America somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, first time I saw her, I fell in love with her.
She's very special also, She's also special. She's not this normal kind of typical...
She is not normal.
No.
She is special.
In a good way, yeah.
in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
I would say she's such a aura. And when I saw her like act in one of my cousin's film, she's at this international level for me. Like, we are small Tibetan filmmakers in our community. How can I bring her in? Like, will she even accept me? I don't know, So I wrote to her and she was so sweet. She just replied right away. I was like, oh, okay. So then to know her better, and I really wanted her in the film, but then you have to sort of put it all together. And then there was this guy called Julian, Urban Julian. He is...
I know. He runs this restaurant, right? And I've been to this place.
Like, the first time when I met her, Royal Cafe got accepted in the DIF Film Festival, which is a big deal in India itself. It's considered like a Sundance Film Festival in India, created or organized by Ritu and Tenzin, the most big Tibetan, in the exile filmmaking scene. They are the only ones. So they started the film festival. That's why they got the Royal Cafe in. So I got invited there and I was so happy. And from there on, I met all these guys. There was this acting class going on. I wanted to go there and see what it's all about. So I went there and there was this tall European guy, and I tried to be this cool person, said, "Hey, I'm Tenzin Dazel, nice to meet you." And then this guy turns and says like, na kyung wo shi ke, ngani la ngai lab lo jik bai. He spoke back to me in Tibetan. And I'm like, what's, when you're unprepared and suddenly you get the shock and it's like, so it's like, this guy is interesting. So I followed him around. I had 2-3 days to live in Dharamsala. So before I leave to Delhi, I asked someone like, hey, who is this guy? Where is this guy? I want to know him. So then they pointed out to this cafe called the Illiterati before. They have the other space. Before they had both. But then I followed him there and then he was there. So right on, I started putting out my phone and filming him speaking Tibetan.
Is that something you regularly do? You see or meet somebody or you hear from somebody interesting, you just approach them?
He's a very good looking person, I think. And you're like, you want to watch this guy on the bigger screen. Yeah, Julian, I approached like that, but he really helped me through. And I would say that he gave to the film, like some dialogues are from himself, and even Charlo and Dala also, like they sort of brought in their own creativity because they're all creative. Julian is someone who studied filmmaking in London, so he's not some regular cafe guy. He studied film, so he knows. Charlo is a designer himself, and he's so creative. Every time I see his act, it just makes my heart warm. I just watch him and I'm like, oh, I love this guy, And then Dala is such a sweet person. When I started writing the film till I made it, I would just brainstorm with him sometimes, and I would just call him and he would just pick it up. And then the blue-haired guy, Tim Punla, he is special. He plays this little crazy guy in the film. I mean, he's a writer, a poet. You can learn a lot from him. And he's so rich in his language, the Tibetan and English both. And sometimes he would just call me up at 3 a.m. in the morning, and we would just brainstorm again. And then when the Dharamsala was written, then I approached Gasola. And I've never met Gasola in person. We did a video call, and Gasola, when I heard his voice, like, whoa. Okay. It's like, yeah, that's good. And then Gasola, we were talking like this on the phone, and he did something like, yeah, and it's like, okay. That's enough, I don't have to look further. He's the guy.
It just seems to have come together and meshed together.
Yeah, and Yishi, every time she does this amazing concert in Paris, she would invite me. Then I'll be so mesmerized because she's like wearing her costume and doing like her singing, and she just takes you to another world. I feel like I'm too cringy for her, So my taste of Bollywood and everything, but I think we had a good time. And Yishi, I think she suffered a lot during the shoot because she wanted to take bath and there was no hot water. And then suddenly, I say, oh, there's hot water. And she just goes and there's cold water.
I think the making of Dharamsala is a whole nother podcast.
It was super tough, very tough. So we have an Indian team, and then we had the creative Tibetans, and they're like Julian, Shalom. They're not actors, right? And Tenzin Dazel, he's a professional actor, so he knows the thing. But then our Shalom, he's like so worried for me when I'm making my film. He's so careful. He's trying to help me. So even with dialogue, he would, like a worried parent, he would kind of come in, yeah. He would add more dialogue because he's so worried, about the whole scene and all this. When we were shooting, he would just come with his donuts, and it was so sweet of him, and I really loved this guy.
Dharamsala could be the first movie which has no director's cut, but has an actor's cut, where like people like Charlotte say, well, this movie was meant to be totally different.
Oh God, I had such an experience. I was fighting at the same time with, people around, and I didn't think a lot about the post-production because, for me, the money that I got from the crowdfunding, it wasn't enough. But somehow I wanted to do it because right away, then I just jumped in. And what I learned, Namri, is that, when you really believe in something and you jump in it, and seriously, if you even have people try to sabotage or whatever, you will have people who will defend you as well. Yeah, I still have to finish a few things and then I'll be done. And I really hope this film entertains. And maybe I'll be scrutinized or not be liked for certain things, but it's okay. I really hope that you will enjoy it when it comes out, and please invite us in Germany to show the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I also want to say that in the film there was a guy called Jingmi Chodak, JC. He's known as JC. He's an artist. He was not in the original cast. I cast someone else, but that guy backed off at the last minute. Then I had to quickly look for someone else. And someone suggested him, and this guy, he said yes, and he will play the role, and he kind of saved us, like the film. Otherwise, it will be difficult to look for another cast, and it's a lot of work. And he played beautifully. I mean, sometimes, like I said, when you miss something, then it's replaced by something better.
Yeah.
And then he passed away.
Oh.
He passed away when we finished shooting, and he passed away after 3 months when it was his birthday. And he has written this song, and when we were kind of gathered around, he sang this song. In the lyrics, he would say like, "Nye doma," like my Tara is not with me. I slipped and fell. The song was about loneliness. It's about all these things. And I told him like, hey, I mean, I want this song to be part of the film, and he recorded on WhatsApp, and we thought that we record like properly later on, and he passed away. And then when I heard how he passed away, he actually slipped, and then he drowned. Yeah, so many things happen in making of this film. Even now, it's a little hard for me to let go of this film because it has so much. And I mean, personally, and in like my editor here in France, my technician director, he told me something like, when the horse is pregnant, and if they don't feel safe, or if they don't feel like it's time, they have the ability to keep the baby inside, and they don't release it when they don't feel. He gave me this example when I told him that, I'm going through so much internally, and there was a burnout in a way. And there are good people, and then there are people who take advantage of you. It took a while for me to understand what is wrong, what is right. It was a tough thing. Even Royal Cafe or Seeds, it was easy for me to just let go. Like, yeah, the film is done, just put it out there. But I don't know why, but Dharamsala, for the first time, this is a film that I'm scared to let go, or there's so much of feelings, because it's also responsible of so many people who contributed to the film, right? I don't want to disappoint them. Also, I'm very, very judgmental. I'm very critic about the work itself. And I'm looking at the film and it's like, oh, it's not good, it's not good, it's not good. Or, how can I make it better? But to make it better, it costs a lot more money. So, oh, Dazzle, don't pay too much. So yeah, I'm going through all this right now. And thank you for giving me the platform to speak about it. And I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for your time. Thanks a million. And I wish you all the best personally.
Thank you.
But also obviously with your movie Dharamsala.
Thank you so much.
And I'm secretly wondering if you'll ever make a Tibetan horror movie.
I think I would say like a horror psych thing, like
Yeah,
more psychological drama.
It could work very well, I think.
Yeah, that I can. I mean,
And
but then,
did you know Tserin Yangzom Lama, the author of Measure the Earth with Our Bodies? She's writing a new book right now, right? And I talked with her about it on Out of Tibet podcast as well. And the new book is about the mystical times of Tibet. And I thought already, the book is not finished. It's going to take another year, at least she said. That when that comes out, isn't that great movie material? I thought.
Yeah.
Put two and two together.
But I have something piled up, like I have something, a personal experience as well, like related to death and all this. So I need to write it all down. But I think it's a good material. So I want to develop, but I don't know if my body will follow right now.
No, please take care of that as well. I mean, of your mental.
Yeah. So I'm state. Like, because it's another level of, work, and you need to go through so much, like so many hospital scenes. So I don't know if I'm ready for that. And also like the way I went through it, and there are certain things I really want a good strong boundary for myself. I'm also thinking that if I put so much of boundary within myself, then will I get all the emotional things that I need when you make the films? There's always this give and take thing, and right now I feel like it's a lot of emptying yourself in a way, and when you don't get the equivalent of it, then you get burnt down. And right now I'm not in touch with many of my cast or crew or anybody, because I needed some space to sort of heal and finish the film and then just be done with it. And right now I'm still holding on it, and I don't want my negativity to come out because it's not good. Trying to spread positivity is better. Either you put the sunlight out and, make everyone happy, or either you just put the plague out and make everyone sick. So I want to be positive. That's my goal, but it's hard, but I try. Yeah.
Thank you, Dazel.
Voilà. Merci.
I hope you enjoyed this Out of Tibet podcast. Before you leave, I want to let you know that I'm doing this podcast in my own free time, and I pay for all the equipment and software needed for recording or brushing up the audio. Therefore, it'd be great if you'd consider supporting me financially on my Patreon or PayPal, so I can continue making more free podcasts for you guys. Please check the show notes for all the details how to support this podcast financially. And if you don't happen to have any money to spare, I would love it if you'd subscribe, give this podcast 5 stars, left a positive review with Spotify, Apple, or wherever you are listening. Thank you very much in advance, and hope to see you in Tibet.